Well, hello everyone, and another day we have another guest for our career aspiration mini series from VietPro. And today I'm very happy to have a chat and manage to find a 15-minute in a very busy diary from Olivia. So Olivia, I met Olivia a couple of years ago when talking to her about some amazing charity work that she did with Christina Noble Children Foundations. But I guess it will be better for us to actually talk to her now and then get more insights into her career and how she got involved so much with our Vietnamese community. Hello, Olivia. How are you?
Thank you, Son. Very, very well. Thank you. Honoured to be here today to speak to you. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. No, it's a great pleasure to see you. And
Likewise.
obviously, I know a lot about what you've done with Christian Noble Children Foundations and everything, but it would be very helpful if you can give us a little bit introductions about yourself and also about the work that you're currently doing.
Of course, yes, thank you. And look, as I mentioned before, hopefully I won't speak too much when I get onto the topic of the foundation. Yeah, it's very hard to keep concise answers. There's much to say, but
Go for it.
yeah, just I suppose yeah, give you a bit of a background of how CNCF came into my life. So my background was actually very much within the creative sector. I did an art foundation at the London College of Fashion, went on to read textile design at Central St Martin's, which is an art college in London. And at that stage in my life, my career aspirations were very much around, the creative industry. And when I graduated, I decided to gain a bit more experience on the business side of the textiles and fashion world and joined a startup outerwear brand. And it was there that my journey within marketing and communications started. That would eventually lead me to hold a position at within the fashion marketing team at Harrods, the department store in London, which was an incredible experience, as with all my career experiences up to that point. But I realised inside that it wasn't the world that I wanted to be in. And during that time, I'd run a series of charitable events in my free time, just helping to raise funds for children's charities in the UK and globally that meant a lot to me, and their work inspired me. So I think I knew sort of subconsciously that that was the path that my heart was really leading me on to go on to. Um, and yeah, I then decided to take a 2 month break from my career, step out of the busy London rat race, as we call it this side, and yeah, and have an opportunity to experience some volunteer work. And I connected with a very good friend of a family member of mine who has done a lot of charity work over the years all around the world. And he mentioned the Christina Noble Children's Foundation and said, look, they run a volunteer program out in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Why don't you come out and spend 2 months working with the children? So that was, very, very much at that stage. I had no idea that that experience was about to change the whole trajectory of my future forever. And I went to Vietnam and immediately fell in love with the country, the people, the spirit that was so immediately obvious. I'd never been to Vietnam before. And after 2 months working on the ground with the children at our flagship project, our Sunshine Social and Medical Centre in District 3 of Ho Chi Minh City, where we support up to 90 children annually, both with residential critical medical care for children with very severe disabilities, and also we provide preschool education to community children who are either disengaged with preschool education, or parents obviously are unable to afford for them to be in a safe and stimulating environment. So it was there where I got to experience the work of the foundation firsthand, and it completely blew me away. I was so inspired by the approach that all of the team had with every single individual child. And it was all about this grassroots holistic way of supporting an individual child, with which, yeah, as we are all aware, every individual child, adult has very specific needs, characters, and it was CNCF's way of working within that specific working within that specific approach to help each individual child reach their full potential. And it was during this time, so in between working with the children, I was helping out with the marketing during my lunch breaks, which was at that stage, CNCF didn't really have any marketing and communications presence historically. The foundation didn't need to have that that presence to help raise awareness of their work. And I got to know CNCF's CEO, Christina Noble, so our founder, Christina's eldest daughter, very well. And she was explaining what she was doing to help transition the family foundation her mother created into a sustainable, independent NGO in Vietnam. So that's the legacy, the 30-year legacy at that point, now 33-year legacy, was able to continue to help and evolve and help many more communities in Vietnam. And yes, very long story short, after spending a lot of time with her and understanding how I could contribute my skill sets into the foundation and helping achieve that goal for what Helenita was working towards, she offered me a role to start CNCF's first marketing and communications team. So I'm sorry, I told you I speak.
No. So,
stop me at any point.
How many years have you been with CNCF then?
So it's now been 6 years since that day where I first arrived in Ho Chi Minh. Yeah, and my life changed forever. So I was out there for 4.5, and then during COVID came back. I'm from England originally, and relocated to be closer to my family here. But yeah, very much connected on a daily basis with the team, and obviously continuing my work for the foundation from the UK.
Thank you so much for all the work, and I think I've said it so many times before to you personally, but I think it's great to see people from different places around the world actually going to Vietnam, fall in love with it, and do something meaningful for the community. That's something very special to us. Two things that I kind of pick it up from the stories, and I think it's kind of resonate a lot to the students or the young professionals. Number one is obviously you do some sort of like switch in your career. You have always been thinking about you studying fashion, you start your career within that sort of sectors, and then changing, moving quite different to do something quite different. What sort of in your mind at that time when you say, I'm going to take 2 month break, I'm going to do something different? What's your thought process? And because obviously loads of students now are thinking, I don't know what I'm studying now. Is it going to be my career or not? So maybe give them a bit of tips and advice, or your thought process at the time of how you get into that. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great question. And I think when I look back on my younger self as well at the beginning of my career, I remember feeling almost the pressure of thinking, gosh, I got to make the decisions now of where I want my career to go. And I think if I could talk to my younger self, I would say, that's not the case. Obviously, go into every role and choose roles that you feel inspired and motivated by to learn. But I think I would say to myself, embrace the unexpected. Don't feel like you've got a rigid pathway to work towards. I think a lot of what happens as you get older and you experience different jobs or experience working life, professional life, meeting and working with lots of different types of people, you evolve as a person yourself. So you maybe might be a different person to who you were as you graduate, but be excited by the opportunity to evolve into different ways of looking at your career. And yeah, I think I would have never expected that I would have ended up where I am now, which is in a career that I feel I hope I will be in for the rest of my life. Not everyone's lucky enough to eventually get into a role that they feel like that. So again, I think where I am now is not necessarily for everyone. You know, again, it's about being open and as I said, yeah, embracing the unexpected, and going into every opportunity as a chance to learn more about yourself, learn and develop the skills and experiences you have, and be excited about the unknown, and not necessarily knowing where your career will take you.
That's a great answer, because I really like the message of be excited about the unknown, because sometimes it's called as something quite scary, especially when you're young and you have the pressures of I need to make it, I need to be successful, I need to be at a certain age, I need to get this job, this title, that sort of thing. So great to hear that from you. And I think that's definitely big lessons for all of us to digest and to learn from. Thank you. And then the sort of the second question that I kind of want to ask you also is, loads of the Vietnamese like students in the in the UK now, they kind of having a bit of confused or scared about working in such a different overseas environment, different cultures, different people, even the language could be a barriers. So now I want to switch things a little bit, and coming from you, who is from the UK and choosing to obviously do a lot of work from Vietnam to Vietnam. Yeah, for you, it's an overseas sort of environment.
Yeah.
How do you find the experience working in such a different country, and what sort of things that you have done to adapt to it and to be really in what you do?
Great question, Son. Very good question. I think the beauty of Vietnamese culture and British culture, even though they are different, the values are very much the same. And I think it's that middle ground that connects, despite the different cultures. And I think, well, from a British perspective, going into a Vietnamese environment, another reason why I fell in love, and it was a very easy decision to move out there, was the spirit of my Vietnamese team, my Vietnamese friends, which really resonated with me. And I think even though there were cultural differences that we both sides embraced, the key was communication. And the more I got to know my colleagues, my friends, and understand the differences, which were never negative differences, it was just acknowledging that there are different ways of looking at different situations. But it was that common ground, the values that I mentioned, and the sense of humor and the ability to laugh at situations that that often arises from both sides. That's not to take things too seriously, I think, and to have that open channel of explaining what you might mean, and understanding from your perspective that someone might not have the same way of looking at it. So I would say communication is key, and also like even to this day, I wish I was Vietnamese many days, because I love, as I said, the spirit and the way of working. And I think it's just accepting that it is an incredible opportunity to learn about ways of working. And sorry, I'm going off on tangents here, but I'm just in my mind thinking about how I work with the team. And many of those team members I've worked with for many years, and I'm just thinking about how we work together, and it all goes back to, as I said, communication and being able to be honest about challenges or problems that you might have. But I think overall, that overarching, the values are the same, and the commitment as well. And what I always am so inspired with, and with the communities that we work with in Mongolia, is that hunger to learn from the Vietnamese, and patience and understanding. And that always inspires me and makes me feel like I need to also embrace those values and skills in how I work. So I think learning from both sides.
I think that's why you enjoy so much what you're doing, because you find inspirations in everywhere and in anyone. And I think that's important because you go to work, you want to inspire people and also be inspired by other people. Otherwise, I would find it very difficult to wake up and go to work every day. So
Yeah.
you are probably a very lucky person to actually find that and keep finding the inspiration every day in everything, in all the challenges as well. So
Yeah, I get so much more back from my Vietnamese colleagues and friends and Mongolian colleagues and friends that I could ever give to the work. I feel very blessed to be a part of that community, and yeah, I'm the lucky one.
great way to think about it. Last questions. What would be the proudest moment in your career so far? Do you want to share with
Wow.
our community?
That is a big question. Okay, a good one. Proudest moments. I think undoubtedly, maybe not for me specifically, but proud in the way that I felt incredibly proud to be a part of the foundation and what it does, which was beyond any other achievement or qualification that I might have received earlier on in my career. I think would be not one specific moment, but several moments being in the operations in Vietnam and working with the children. And I mean, in my head again, I'm visualizing many different situations of working with the children and seeing them achieve specific accomplishments, graduations for children that had experienced extreme trauma. And I'd over the years grown to get to know well and seen heal and thrive through the opportunities that CNCF had provided. But also I can think of several much younger children in my mind that I witnessed walking for the first time, orphan children who had no parents, who relied totally on CNCF for the love and care that they needed. But also they were children that had arrived with us when we were told that they were probably not able to walk or not able to speak. And I've been in those situations where I've seen them walk or seen them speak. And to me, that is so incredibly, just it has been the proudest moment to see the resilience of the human spirit and how the services that an organization can provide can help to empower a child to achieve that. And it makes you realize how fortunate, you yourself are. I remind myself daily how lucky I am just to be able to walk and move my limbs, let alone have the opportunities that I've had in life in terms of education and my career to date. So that's probably not giving you one specific moment, but several moments, and they would all relate back to seeing children achieve the unachievable, or what we were told was the unachievable, in both countries that we operate. Would be a very long answer. Apologies, it's because I'm visualizing all these different moments.
Too many moments, too many good moments. Thank you so much for your time, and also this is a great opportunity to say thank you explicitly to you, to the foundations for all the work that you've done. I'm going to put out the link in the descriptions on the website. So if you want to get to know more and get involved more with Christina Noble Children Foundation, you can do that as well. And we also got our main VietPro event, the Career Prospect, on the 5th of November. So if you want to come and meet more professionals on the day, or come to talk to me or to us, please join. It's starting at 2 p.m. in Imperial College London. So I'll see you there. But for now, thank you so much for taking the time talking to us, and I wish you a lovely day. Thank you,
Thank
Olivia.
you, Son, yourself too. Thank you.